It didn't show any bars, so now I know it's not the iRig. It has to be like the connection in the station. So you can just let the commercials roll and then we'll come back in. Can we come back in where we would come in after the 10? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen that are watching here, you get to see some of our challenges as we are always, making sure that everything is in place and everything is moving. However, sometimes there's technical difficulties and there's a lot of stuff that we want to talk about. So, we're going to do that. Nope, it cut off again. So, we're not going to do that. That's not working. So bear with us and we will jump right back in. I'm going to call in the station on my cell phone. Never in history have we been in a position where so many things are coming together at one time. And I talk about all the time this being the perfect storm.
Don't let Kraken or Binance or any of those platforms keep your cryptocurrency, because if they go under or if they get hacked, your coin goes with it. I'm standing here letting you know that that has happened to us, and we did not get that money back. The regulators, even if they find out who they're supposed to go after, you know what they're telling those of us who lost money or lost Bitcoin on an exchange? They're going to give us 30% of our value. Well, now Bitcoin is 57,000. Are you giving us 30% of that 57,000 or 30% of what it was back when we lost it? And that was pennies. So that's what they're doing in this space, but somebody's got the Bitcoin and gone away.
And our quote for the day is very simple. It says, financial freedom is when you never do anything that you don't want for money, and you never omit doing something that you want to because of lack of money. And that is what financial freedom is. And I'm looking forward to that day for each and every one of us. I'm looking forward to the day when I don't even have to ask how much something costs. Even though I might want to know, I'm just not going to have to ask how much something costs. And I see that all the time in some of these new circles that we are starting to really get mentorship from. And so I'm appreciating that. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as we roll into today's show, there are so many things that have happened, and I really feel like I am again I'm on my game. I guess I can make sure I can just tell you all that I'm smiling if you cannot hear it, because a lot of the economists were stating that our Feds, Jerome Powell, would not raise the interest rates. And if you have been listening to me, I said possibly 25 basis points. I was thinking more 50, but possibly, if they didn't do the 50, I know they would probably do the 25. And I was absolutely right, because today our Federal Reserve raised the interest rates by 25 basis points, which is one of the most critical things that could have happened right now in this particular space and time. And so policymakers are faced with the dual threat of the banking crisis and elevated inflation. And again, as we continue to understand the ins and outs of the Fed's against or in being different from our government, we start to understand why, this tug of war and understanding this information is so critically important. So because they raised the interest rates another 25 basis points, ladies and gentlemen, it makes it difficult for those bonds that a lot of the banks are holding to do what they need to do to bring us the types of not bring us, because the banks are the ones that get the returns, but brings them the returns in that bond market that they're expecting, which then funds a lot of different types of things. And I'm not going to go into the types of things that they fund, but just understand that there's going to be a slight issue if any of those banks have to sell some of their bonds at a discount. It causes shortages financially. It also causes shortages with our government because our government is not getting people spending the way that they want to actually gather up those taxes and be the recipient of the taxes that we pay for everything that we do out here. And so this basis point uh, hike in rates, we will see the ramifications of it sooner or later. And so I know that everyone is on their anticipatory tiptoes because the next couple of weeks can really prove to be disastrous if this is not done right. Not if it's not done right, if different banking institutions and other regulatory agencies and different things that need to happen all consecutively, and everything needs to happen in order for things to go right. And the Fed Chairman Jerome Powell really expects a bumpy road back to 2%. I don't think that we're going to get to 2% anytime soon, because this was actually the ninth time, ladies and gentlemen, that the Feds have raised the interest rates in the last 12 months in a reaction to this United States inflation rate, which is peaking right now at about 9.1%, which is a lot. And so if we're not doing things that are keeping up with the 9.1% interest that inflation that we're seeing, we're going to be in some trouble. And so we know that our jobs are not keeping up with inflation. We know the price of food is not keeping up with inflation. And so because this is something that has never happened before in history, we've got to do all of the things that we can to do a little bit different, a little bit more, save a little bit more, think about investing a little bit more. We've got to do something different because inflation remains absolutely elevated at this point. A lot of the employers are still posting these robust numbers of job gains, and I am consistently getting emails and articles that companies are laying off 10,000 people at a time. And it's happening over and over, but they're not reporting the layoffs, which I'm really, really surprised about. So they put these robust numbers in about how many jobs are out there and how many people have jobs, and then they lay off. I know in the last 2 weeks, there's been two major layoffs that have laid off over 25,000 people, and nobody is reporting those in their actual reports. And that's what I mean, ladies and gentlemen, when I talk about manipulation of actual factual data or matrix that they use to put into these types of reports. We need to know that these layoffs are happening. So, so that we know that, again, some pretty tight times are happening. I'm not going to say hard times because all of us are not going to experience hard times, but you got to know that tight times are coming and that you've got to do things just a little bit different. And there's a bunch of different indicators that let us know that another interest rate hike is actually going to be likely. So that 50 I talked about didn't happen today, but I did say it was going to be probably 25. But they'll probably do another interest rate hike because they're going to need to really get this inflation under control. And personal consumption expenditure price index is something else that I look at. Again, that's called the personal consumption expenditure price index. You need to take a look at these reports sometimes, especially if you're thinking about trading or really trying to gauge inflation or gauge what actual traders are doing. I had a very interesting conversation with a young lady today that I do some business with, and we've been kind of going back and forth as to what the next steps are. And she was really expressing to me that this was one of the first times in her life that she knows that she's doing well financially, but she looks at her children, adult children, and she's wondering what in the world are they going to be able to do based on all of these pivots that are happening when they've gone to school for one thing and they wind up doing something else, but then they kind of get stagnated because they really don't know what they want to do and how they want to do it. And inflation is going up and they don't have enough money to show three times the income to move into their own places. And all of those things are going to affect us. And so when we're talking about and looking at the markets and all of the things that happen, all of those things eventually trickle down to our households, whether we know it or not. And all these layoffs that are coming, no, it doesn't mean that our children won't have jobs, but it does mean that our children will be in competition a little bit more than they've been in the past in order to actually maintain or even get the types of jobs that they need to sustain themselves. And so we've got to be looking at all of these things, and we've got to be looking at the different tools and things that we need to really help ourselves, our children, our families get a little bit further ahead so that we have some cushion for times that we think are coming up. And so this labor department and some of these numbers that they're releasing at the end of the month, I'm always just telling people to, I'm always optimistic that they'll do the right thing and say the right thing. But it is really apparent that they're going to continue to put out the numbers that they want so that they can continue with the narrative that they want to continue with. And all of these things are kind of just trying to make sure that people are confident about still giving your money to someone else to handle, giving your money to the bank to hold, giving your money to different companies to continue to do their business so that you can get some sort of rate of return on those things. And really, this is the opposite, in my opinion, of the time that we need to be doing those things because we actually don't know how well they're going to fare. And so we just want to be careful with that. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I was going to talk about today the White House because the White House actually released an extensive economic report from the President of the United States, which included a section that was titled Digital Assets Relearning Economic Principles. Why is this important? Because we have been waiting for a very long time, those of us that are in the cryptocurrency space, to really figure out exactly what regulation is going to be and how it is going to affect this particular asset called cryptocurrency. And so this section actually detailed Bitcoin, its functionality, and various possible benefits that proponents claim from this popularity of cryptocurrency asset. And as I read it, I took a look at some things and I wrote some things down, and I'm going to share some things with you. But the proponent actually claims, and I'm going to give you both sides because I want to make sure that everyone is getting all of what they need and not just what my opinion of this is. And whatever our United States government does, whatever the White House puts in place, whatever they finally regulate as far as digital assets is concerned, it definitely is going to affect us. It's going to let us know which cryptocurrencies we can get involved in, which cryptocurrencies they're deeming securities, which means you may have some different tax implications. We're going to find out exactly what regulatory body we're supposed to be reporting to, other than the IRS. And yes, you do have to report your cryptocurrency holdings, or you should, to the IRS. I don't believe that you have to tell them how much you have, but you do need to let them know that you are engaging in this space. But the proponent claims the report intends to actually address different, a vast amount of different crypto assets serving as investment vehicles and enabling fast digital payments. And remember, I told you the Fed Now program is going to be implemented because they want to keep up with the fast digital payments 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We know the banks to close on Friday. If you do a wire after 2 o'clock, people won't get that wire until Monday. So that whole entire weekend, they're doing whatever they need to do with your money before they actually send it to the next bank. Well, Fed Now program will cut that out. They're going to be able to transfer money, or you will be able to transfer money eventually, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the current financial technology infrastructure that they're building will too change. So they said that the report the report will address the reality of cryptocurrency assets and the section that is titled Setting the Record Straight in the Eyes of the Administration. So, compared with many of the other asset types, cryptocurrency assets are very volatile, as we stated, and hence highly risky. The report actually began saying because they are very volatile crypto assets, they can be used for speculation, an investment strategy that seeks to make a profit from short run trading. And so, what they're insinuating is that everyone using cryptocurrency is trying to do short run trading, which is far from the truth. But the reason many cryptocurrency assets are highly volatile is that many of them do not have fundamental value. That is absolutely true. And I always state to each and every one of you that all cryptocurrencies are not created equal. One reason many cryptocurrency assets are highly volatile is because people create them again to extract funds from our bank accounts. And so you've got to be careful when someone comes to you and states that this cryptocurrency that they're introducing to you is the next big thing, just like Bitcoin. I tell people when they hear that phrase to always take a step back, take a deep breath, and pay attention to the tokenomics. Because if they're emulating Bitcoin or trying to emulate Bitcoin or trying to give you the mindset that it's exactly the same as Bitcoin or it's going to be better than Bitcoin or it's going to do better financially than Bitcoin, you really need to look at it 2 or 3 different times. Now, I just firmly believe because of the technology that there's nothing out there that is actually going to do better than Bitcoin in the long run. It may have a short run at giving you the types of returns that you need. And again, that goes to the volatility, that goes to the speculation, that goes to the short run trading. But what you better be able to do is pay attention to that asset day in and day out. It is unlike anything else that you can get involved in because of the fact that cryptocurrency trades 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You've got to be paying attention daily because all of the different time zones and the different countries that come online at different times, there's always something in their market that actually really make sure that the market is changing itself around. And I say that because when I was trading cryptocurrency or learning how to trade cryptocurrency, I had to literally wake up every 3 to 4 hours to check the markets and make sure that nothing happened in China while we were asleep that would change the price of some of these cryptocurrencies that I was getting involved in. And as a recovering coinaholic, it was really, really important that I share with you that if you're just going to work 9 to 5 and your cousin or anybody, it could be a person that you really, really are looking up to. If they suggest that you need to get involved in the cryptocurrency and they have a way to tell you when to get in and out and they have signals and all of these things, which a lot of people say that they do, you really got to be careful about that because we absolutely have seen how people lose massive amounts of money because from minute to minute, if you're away from your desk or you're at work and you're doing something, for your boss and you're supposed to be paying attention to work, you're not paying attention to your phone. You're not paying attention to the market. And that is one of the reasons why I tell everybody to try your best to stay away from things that you're not going to pay attention to on a daily basis. In this cryptocurrency space, ladies and gentlemen, you need to inspect what you expect, except if you are buying Bitcoin. And I will say that, and I'm firm about that because the last 4 years I've been living by that because of the fact I haven't had to worry about Bitcoin because of the actual technology behind the coin. When I look at some of these other coins, I'm worried about them. And so I just stopped trading them. I stopped buying them. I left what was there. I've moved what I can move because I didn't get off of enough exchanges in time. I have cryptocurrencies that are spread out across some other exchanges that don't even allow you anymore to do business if you live in the United States. And all of these things create a way for us to lose our money, which make it risky, highly risky, which is why they're saying this in this report. And again, causes volatility and short run trading. And so we want to make sure that we're doing the best on that. And so a lot of what we're dealing with in this space is market sentiments. And you should not be listening to people that are giving you their claims on cash flow. And that was something else that was listed in the president's document. It states, and I quote, cryptocurrencies currently serve each of these functions. And when we come forward, ladies and gentlemen, we will continue our conversation about this document that came out from the White House today after sports, news, and traffic. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Never in history have we been in a position where so many things are coming together at one time. And I talk about all the time this being the perfect storm. Don't let Kraken or Binance or any of those platforms keep your cryptocurrency, because if they go under or if they get hacked, your coin goes with it. I'm standing here letting you know that has happened to us, and we did not get that money back. The regulators, even if they find out who they're supposed to go after, you know what they're telling those of us who lost money or lost Bitcoin on an exchange? They're going to give us 30% of our value. Well, now Bitcoin is 57,000. Are you giving us 30% of that 57,000 or 30% of what it was back when we lost it? And that was pennies. So that's what they're doing in this space, but somebody's got the Bitcoin and gone away. Never in history have we been in a position
where so many things are coming together at one time. And I talk about all the time this being the perfect storm.
Don't let Kraken or Binance or any of those platforms keep your cryptocurrency, because if they go under or if they get hacked, your coin goes with it. I'm standing here letting you know that that has happened to us, and we did not get that money back. The regulators, even if they find out who they're supposed to go after, you know what they're telling those of us who lost money or lost Bitcoin on an exchange? They're going to give us 30% of our value. Well, now Bitcoin is 57,000. Are you giving us 30% of that 57,000 or 30% of what it was back when we lost it? And that was pennies. So that's what they're doing in this space, but somebody's got the Bitcoin and gone away.
All right, welcome forward, welcome forward. So let's just continue because today the White House actually put out their economic report from our President of the United States, and it has a lot to do with cryptocurrency. So I want to make sure that we're getting this information. So those of you that are a little bit worried about the direction that we are going in this United States will not be too upset because it wasn't too bad. It just really just talked about effective alternatives. So we're going to talk. I'm just going to read a tad bit and we'll have a little bit of conversation as we go through it. But they say cryptocurrencies currently serve each of these functions, but they only do so in limited ways in the United States. So they don't serve from an economic perspective as an effective alternative to the US dollar. Now, as you, I'm just going to say this, that's what their report states. But this is short sighted, in my opinion. And this conclusion that they came up was is really really short sighted. As Bitcoin is still a relatively new thing, they can't say that it's not going to serve as an alternative to the dollar because in fact it actually is. Just yesterday, some individuals that I know are utilizing Bitcoin to do some things that they need to do. And so it is not wholeheartedly the right perspective, but that's what they're saying. So it's Bitcoin is still new. We've got a long way to go, and I know that. And it has now been proven in several other markets that it can be very effective to fulfill some of the functions. And the United States and its citizens simply just enjoy the privileges of a economy. I'm not going to say that it's a great functioning economy, but it's an economy that's working and has worked for some more than others. And so that makes it necessary. It makes it necessary for them to make it seem like Bitcoin is just so distant and so far away, but it's happening every day. The White House describes how, because a smaller number of entities are accepting Bitcoin as payments in the United States, that it doesn't serve as a proper medium of exchange. And it's saying that, therefore they don't think that it's going to be able to be used as a unit of account. And it absolutely can. But this, once again, is short sighted in that every day further markets produce businesses that are built around the Bitcoin ecosystem. Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about it over and over again. El Salvador has made the headlines, and they have made Bitcoin legal tender. And they are now finally seeing some success. And with everything, you've got to work slowly, you got to inch into it. And they have really inched into their possibilities of just having a phenomenal economy and their choice to actually adopt it as legal tender. And the document also says, and I quote, the strength of the US dollar is derived from several important factors. And ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking about those factors, but this is what they say, such as faith in government institutions. So that's the first red flag. The legal system. In our community, unfortunately, that's the second red flag. But cryptocurrencies lack these factors. And that's what their reports say. But this faith has been tangibly shaken as the world watches the banking system repeatedly fall back on the need for federal action. It shouldn't be mistaken that this encourages faith in a system, but rather highlights the necessity to continually save in a system fully designed to rely on a debt cycle bubble. And that's what we're doing with the United States banks right now. And again, it may not be all banks, but we're relying on this whole debt cycle bubble that they've been doing for a very, very long time. And then as it relates to the CBDC, central bank digital currency, this is what we should all be waiting for and listening out for, because this central bank digital currency is coming, whether you like it or not. It is going to be implemented here in the United States. A lot of us are feeling like it's going to be implemented sometime this year. But the report also focuses on the potential for a US CBDC and how it might improve the financial system. And it stated a US CBDC, a digital form of the United States dollar, would have the potential to offer significant benefits. It could enable a payment system that is more effective, provide a foundation for further technological innovation, facilitate faster cross border transactions, and be environmentally sustainable. So, for example, a potential United States central bank digital currency could help ensure that such payment systems are aligned with the principles of human rights, democracy values, and privacy, the report says. Now, again, this is what the report says. But all these values, which are highlighted as potentially being compromised by a central bank digital currency, um, are the same highlighted potentials to compromise our freedom. I'm just going to say that. And so when we look at these different reports and things that they have, you have got to look at them a little more critical than what's on the surface. The report actually ends with the conclusions that cryptocurrency cannot challenge basic economic principles such as what makes an asset effective as money and incentives that give risks to run risks. Although the underlying technologies are a clever solution for the problem of how to execute transactions without a trusted authority, crypto assets currently do not offer widespread economic benefits in their eyes. They are largely speculative investment vehicles that are not an effective alternative to fiat currency. And so they say that not just twice, they say it three times. And so these conclusions, too, have been proven to be incorrect in other markets as widespread economic benefits of Bitcoin usage have made themselves visible in various local economies flourishing around the world. And again, what I really fear is that the United States is going to keep pushing back against Bitcoin specifically. They're going to implement their CBDC, but they're already seeing signs that other countries are not going to come on board with our dollar. They're actually starting to push away from our dollar. So if we don't implement or allow for the use of Bitcoin, and they're not making Bitcoin illegal, but the actual legal tender or whatever else they need to do. I don't even know if they need to make a legal tender because, again, we're utilizing it right now as we speak to do the things that we need to do. And so we just got to watch how this plays out. I know a lot of you are standing on the sidelines waiting to find out what the government is going to say before you get involved in the Bitcoin space and the cryptocurrency space. And I think that is not going to serve a lot of us very well because they're doing a lot of things to distract individuals from the space or deter people from the space so that they can figure out how to roll out this central bank digital currency first. And maybe you'll have full faith in this central bank digital currency, just like you have full faith in the US dollar and the banking system and the FDIC system, which we have been able to actually visualize that it has some issues. So when we come forward, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to jump into a couple of things that are happening in the cryptocurrency space because there is some more tightening that is coming around individuals that are pushing coins and different platforms that they know are no good. And the SEC just put out a lawsuit, Securities and Exchange Commission. And we'll talk about that, ladies and gentlemen, when we come forward. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Never in history have we been in a position where so many things are coming together at one time. And I talk about all the time this being the perfect storm.
Don't let Kraken or Binance or any of those platforms keep your cryptocurrency, because if they go under or if they get hacked, your coin goes with it. I'm standing here letting you know that that has happened to us, and we did not get that money back. The regulators, even if they find out who they're supposed to go after, you know what they're telling those of us who lost money or lost Bitcoin on an exchange? They're going to give us 30% of our value. Well, now Bitcoin is 57,000. Are you giving us 30% of that 57,000 or 30% of what it was back when we lost it? And that was pennies. So that's what they're doing in this space, but somebody's got the Bitcoin and gone away.
All right. Welcome forward. So let's get into our market update. And today, Bitcoin is trading at $27,293. It is up in the last hour 1.28%, and it is down in the last 24 hours 2.98%. And in the last 7 days, it is up 11.66%. Ethereum is trading at $1,734. It is up in the last hour 0.75%. In the last 24 hours, it's down 3.62%. And it is up in the last 7 days 4.74%. So I wanted to just make sure that everyone was actually clear on the fact that information that comes out in the news, the Fed's talking to us about different things that are happening with interest rates, absolutely have all to do with a lot of our financial markets, including Bitcoin, it seems, at this point, because Bitcoin actually pulled back from its highest level or its highest price level since June, and the smaller cryptocurrency slumped after the Federal Reserve interest rate increase eased speculations that were supposed to loosen monetary policy. And the other tokens that are associated with crypto entrepreneur Justin Sun, some of you, I've never talked about Justin Sun. I've tried to kind of refrain from throwing people under the bus, but there's a lot of things that I feel Justin Sun has done. He actually is the owner of a lot of different cryptocurrencies. He says all of them are decentralized. And if they're decentralized, that means no one person owns them, et cetera, et cetera. But some of those cryptocurrencies that Justin Sun is involved with actually dropped sharply after the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commissions charged him today and three of his companies with offering and selling unregistered securities as well as price manipulation. So that's the Tron token, TRON. Some of you are holding Tron. It dropped 10%. TRX is that actual token. And that's what you're seeing if you're looking at prices right now. And I looked at that according to Coin Market Cap. But the price of BTT, which is another token associated with BitTorrent, fell by more than 1%. And so BitTorrent has been around for a very long time. There's a whole community behind BitTorrent and what they're doing with getting music and movies and all of those things. It's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes with that. So I don't think it's going to fall too much because there's a community around that. But Bitcoin fell 5%, as you heard in that 24-hour period, but definitely not in the last hour. And so it's starting to, catch itself back up. But all of those things happened because of that announcement by Fed Chairman Jerome Powell. And so, again, people are listening. They're trying to figure out what to invest in, and they're nimble, which means if the chairman says one thing, they're already prepared to go in one direction. If the chairman says something else, they're ready and waiting to get involved in something else. And as a community, we are going to have to get ourselves to that point. And right now, we're building up to that. We're learning all of the different ins and outs that have to do with why certain rules and regulations and reports and different things that come out to help us better understand money and what we need to do to continue flirting with making sure that our families have what we need at the end of the day in this chess game. So Bitcoin has rallied about 60% this year. We're excited about that. And so we're just going to continue to watch these markets. They're going to react violently again because we don't know what the hike is going to do. We don't know if it's going to push individuals to put more money into cryptocurrency. We don't know exactly what their sentiments are. But what we do know is everyone is on edge right now to find out what is actually going to happen with this basis hike. So the 25 basis point hike. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, when we come forward, we will continue this conversation. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Never in history have we been in a position where so many things are coming together at one time. And I talk about all the time this being the perfect storm.
Don't let Kraken or Binance or any of those platforms keep your cryptocurrency, because if they go under or if they get hacked, your coin goes with it. I'm standing here letting you know that that has happened to us, and we did not get that money back. The regulators, even if they find out who they're supposed to go after, you know what they're telling those of us who lost money or lost Bitcoin on an exchange? They're going to give us 30% of our value. Well, now Bitcoin is 57,000. Are you giving us 30% of that 57,000 or 30% of what it was back when we lost it? And that was pennies. So that's what they're doing in this space, but somebody's got the Bitcoin and gone away.
Hey, y'all. I'm struggling through the day, but it's all good. We're going to make it happen. I'm doing this radio show through my phone because my equipment's not working, but it is what it is. Marion Bryant, you are welcome. Melva Monroe Henderson, thank you as well for listening in. And we are going to get it. I thought I was coming back off my break, but he put some more music in there. All right. Welcome forward. Welcome forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make sure that you are still aware that if you have any questions, if you have anything that you would like me to address specifically as it relates to the cryptocurrency space, as it relates to the new money space, even if you have some old money space stuff, I will try to incorporate that in there. But you can always send an email to asknajaroberts@gmail.com. Again, that's asknajaroberts@gmail.com. We are in the process right now of preparing for our digital financial revolution tour to go all across the United States and educate on money. So if you have friends and family that are anywhere in this country, chances are we will be coming directly to their city in this summer. And so I'm excited about this tour. We are picking up some very incredible sponsors just to make sure that the community is alive and well. They're going to be fully hydrated. We've picked the water company because it's summertime. It's going to be hot out there. But we're going to make sure that everything goes well. And I'm excited about it. So we're getting ready for the DFR tour. If you'd like to be a part of the DFR tour in Los Angeles, which is our kickoff event, please reach out to me. Ask NajahRoberts@gmail.com. I love to have you help me plan to get everything going for our kickoff in Leimert Park. I'm excited about it. We're going to have our Ledger and Me 123 on April the 22nd of next month. So if you need to start putting your Bitcoin or cryptocurrency off the exchange into your own wallet, you can sign up for the Ledger and Me 123. Again, it's April 22nd. You can send me an email about that as well. We have Crypto Essentials on April the 8th. That is April the 8th. And I'm kind of working backwards here. And then what are the next moves? I have been working tirelessly, which is probably what's wrong with my voice. I've been up late, waking up early, trying to really figure out or make sure that we are safe. And that is one of my biggest concerns. Again, as you all know, those of you that know me personally, those of you that have watched me over the last year, I am all about mission over monetization for our people right now. The time is critical. And we don't have time to figure out if people can pay us or not. We need to make sure that the information is out there. And so, my next move is to put together or complete this report that I will be giving you all. It's called Mission Critical. And I'm actually going to go over it on March the 28th. And we're going to do that. We're going to do that on March 28th. And there's more to come about that. But everyone, I want to thank each and every one of you for rocking with me today here on Ahead of the Crypto Curve. We're making way for the DL Hughley Show. You all know I say DL is the truth. But I thank you again for rocking with me. We are creating Satoshi millionaires around here, one family at a time, one day at a time, one Bitcoin at a time, one Satoshi at a time. And ladies and gentlemen, that means you.
Cause we ahead of the crypto curve, yeah.
Hey y'all, lights, camera, action.
Let's get ahead of the crypto curve, yeah. Learn from the queen of crypto, your host, Najah Roberts, leading people out of financial slavery through Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Create your own economy. Let's get ahead of the crypto curve. Learn to get left behind.